Welcome to Stanislaus Football Weekly, and now for your hosts, Joe Cortez and Brian VanderBeek.
Hi, welcome to the show. I'm Joe, this is Brian, and this is our 36th season of SFW.
At least.
Hey, Beek, we're filming this on Tuesday,
Yes.
September 16th,
Uh-huh.
which is Mexican Independence Day. So, Feliz Dia de la Independencia.
Okay.
Look at that.
I'll go home and get the 3 for $1 tacos at Del Taco, and we'll be good.
Attaboy.
We'll be good.
Attaboy. Okay, let's dive right in.
Okay.
Almost.
Yeah, talk about last week. We had some really good games last week, and we're going to talk about a couple of them that are going to set up a game this week.
Right.
But I was at the Turlock West game, which is one of the better high school games I have seen in years. Clovis West got up 21-0, kind of as expected. And just rolling on Turlock. Turlock makes a defensive adjustment, takes away all the outside, the flat, and then the underneath stuff. Brought the safeties up and started pounding the Clovis West receivers as they came across, and then started dominating the line of scrimmage and just got on a roll. Ends up winning 27-21. Just absolutely terrific win for Turlock. Turlock defense, they dominated on the line. I was very surprised how they dominated Clovis West physically, because Clovis West generally is a pretty physical ball game.
That was a big barometer game. We were interested in that game because Merced, the team picked to win the Central California Conference, had lost to Clovis West a couple weeks before up in Fresno.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good measuring stick for these two teams.
Right, and the Turlock players were very aware of that.
Oh, were they?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. And I was over in Patterson for Modesto versus Patterson, and that was a real close game. Modesto jumped out to a big lead, 2-touchdown lead. Patterson reels them in, scores what appears to be the tying touchdown. They missed the PAT, and Modesto holds on. But I was struck by a couple of things in that game. Modesto can really play defense. I mean, they fly around, and they get after it. And the quarterback, Nathan Phillips, is a real player. Runs around. He's more physical than you'd expect. He's probably 5'10" and 175 pounds, but he's just physical and can really throw it, too.
That's
It'd be fun to watch.
Well, Modesto 3-0. We got to talk about another 3-0 team here, because Davis
is 3-0.
3-0 for the first time since 2003. They play against Weston Ranch at Modesto Junior College. Now they're trying to set up Modesto Junior College as kind of their home.
Kind of their home, which it used to be.
Right.
And with former Davis High quarterback Tim Garcia now coaching, he wanted to kind of bring back that tradition, and they got the okay to play a few games there. Yeah. And that's good to see.
Yeah, Timmy's one of my favorite young coaches in the area, but he does make me feel old. His dad, Tim Sr., was a teammate of mine on the 1977 Lions Club team. Tim played at Central Catholic. Tim Sr. played at Central Catholic, and then quarterbacked Merced College to a couple championships, as I remember.
That's right. He did.
But anyway,
hey, I hate to break it to you, but you're getting up there. Yeah,
I know. We'll talk about.
You're older than I am.
We'll talk about age a little longer, but a little later. But speaking of Tim Garcia, I had a chance after the quarterback club meeting on Monday to spend a couple minutes with him, and here's what Tim had to say about this season and about this week's game.
Very excited to be back at Davis, off to a 3-0 start. Very happy for the kids, the school, everybody involved. They've been working hard since January, and it's just exciting for our kids and our school at this point in time in the season.
And how about this week's game?
This week we play Western Ranch, a very athletic, explosive offensive team at MJC on Friday night. And we're just going to get prepared at practice today for a good week of practice and see if we can keep it going.
Now, you said early in the season that you wanted MJC, like it was in your high school days, to be Davis's home field.
Sure.
How's that working?
It's been, we got 2 home games there this year, and that is my goal, to get all 5 home games next year at MJC. It's been part of the tradition, the football tradition at Davis, and that's what we're trying to tap into to get this thing rolling again.
So Tim Garcia, he got his start at Central Valley. He was the first coach over there, and he was 19-41 in 6 seasons. He's now 22-41 overall, and he's got a long way to go before he catches our leader in the clubhouse.
Well, yeah, because if he coaches as long as Mark Loureiro has coached, maybe he'll have a chance to win that many games. But Mark Loureiro, not that old, he's only 3 years older than I am. And every time Mark talks about retiring, I kind of mention that to him. Come on, Mark, you can't retire. You make me feel old. Well, Mark is 259, 50 losses and 1 tie in his career at Escalon High, which leaves him only 2 wins short of the all-time Sac Joaquin section record, held by Max Miller, who got most of his wins at Cordova High. with a few wins also at Rio Americano. Max Miller had 261 career wins. It's kind of a short list of coaches who have even won 200 wins. Going over a couple of these names, Mike Alberghini, of course, at Grant, has won 238. Dan Carmazzi at Jesuit and Christian Brothers at 232. And just this last week, we had the state's 79th all-time 200-win coach in Terry Logue, whose Bear River team beat Argonaut, and that's Terry's 200th career win, and we wish Terry all the best. Great guy, and he's battling Parkinson's. It's really heartwarming and tough to watch at the same time up there. Coming up on this list, though, is young guy, Roger Canepa.
Roger Canepa, yeah.
He's actually 7 years younger than Mark Loureiro and exactly 70 wins behind him. And if Central Catholic continues to play 15 games a season, he might have a chance to catch him. But Roger at Calaveras, Sonora, and now, of course, at Central Catholic has 189 career wins. So
he could get to 200
conceivably this year. He could get to 200. Yeah.
Yeah, that's, you look at Loureiro's record, that's incredible. He's 209 wins above 500.
Yeah.
That is just amazing.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and that record-setting win could come October 10th at Houston. So,
be a big TVL game.
Mark that on your calendars.
Yeah.
Hey, let's look ahead to some of these Week 3, our fourth week of action, the matchups for Week 3. Oh, but before we do, I just want to remind everybody to be sure to join me each Tuesday for our live football chat. And then Friday nights, you can follow our live coverage at modb.com. And then after the games, join us for the Pigskin post-game wrap, which has, you're there, I'm there, Ron Augustini's there, Jimmy Silva's there.
Sometimes on paper, but he's there.
Jimmy Silva's actually sitting in a corner over there right now. That's probably the best place for it, Jim.
So your online chat is at 7 o'clock on Tuesdays?
7 p.m. on Tuesdays,
okay.
Yes. Okay, on to Week 3.
Yeah.
Our first game, Bayer at Central Catholic.
Yeah. Pretty easy game to pick, I would think.
Este es fácil.
Yeah, this is foreign language. Central Catholic.
This is easy. Católico Central es el mejor equipo.
Good.
Okay, you got that?
Weston Ranch at Davis.
I'm going to go with Davis on this one. I think they're riding a little mojo. They're going to be fired up. They're playing at home, picking the Spartans.
Yeah, Weston Ranch comes into this game 1-1. We mentioned Davis at 3-0, but it's going to sound strange to say. Davis is going to be the best team that Western Ranch has played so far. They've played Galt.
Right.
They played Edison Stockton, I want to say. I have to look that up. I think that's right. But no, this is going to be the best team that Western Ranch has played this year, and I like Davis in this one too.
I do too.
On the home turf.
Next we have McNair, Stockton at Modesto Christian, a game you'll be covering.
Yeah, be going across the freeway to cover that one. McNair 1-2. They have given up 160 points in their first 3 games. They've actually been outscored 141-160. So we're going to see a couple wide open offenses. The difference here is that Modesto Christian, in going 1-1 so far, not a shutdown defense, but compared to McNair they've only allowed 17 points a game.
Right, and they lost their first game by 1.
Yeah.
And then just took it to Calaveras last week.
So I think Modesto Christian's on a roll, and the return of Mike Parsons, and I like Modesto Christian.
I'm going to go with the Crusaders as well.
Yeah.
Turlock at Modesto, the old Turkey Bowl.
The old Turkey Bowl. It's going to be at Downey High on Friday night.
We touched on this game a little earlier. Yeah. You saw Turlock last week. I saw Modesto. What's your pick? I still need time to make up my mind.
Well, I was thinking something after that game when I saw Turlock and Clovis West, and then Bubba Moreno, the Turlock coach, the Turlock quarterback, came up to me and said, "Hey, I really think we gelled as a team tonight. We just came together in that second half, and this is going to carry us." And I'm going to take his word on that, because I saw a Turlock team that really played well. I mean, that was almost a perfect second half they played. I think they carry that momentum into this week and beat Modesto.
Well, I said Modesto plays defense. I was impressed with the way they play defense. They're not running the ball as well as I think they can. They've got a returning 1,000-yard rusher in Antonio Perez. He found it tough going last Friday. They rely a little bit, maybe too much, on Nathan Phillips. I'm going to take the Bulldogs as well.
Okay. Last game on the list, Mariposa at Livingston.
Yeah, now this has turned into kind of a very interesting game, and probably something we wouldn't have looked at a couple of weeks ago. Livingston barely lost to Hillmar.
Right.
And they beat LeGrand last week, the 4-time reigning champions. Mariposa lost to Somerville by less than a touchdown. Somerville's very good. So there's a lot to like here. I'm going to go with Livingston at home.
Yeah, and that's the same reason I'm going with Livingston. Mariposa has to make the trip. Anybody who's ever made the trip up the hill to Mariposa, which I had to do in high school, knows how difficult that can be. Even though they play on campus now, they don't play at the fairgrounds. But Livingston's got something going there.
They do.
And I just like Livingston to keep it going.
I do. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've done it. I think we've exhausted everything we have here.
That's the whole thing. So unless you want to throw some more Spanish at me, I think we can leave.
Nos vemos.
Yeah. Well, have a great football weekend, everybody.